And it's because the
Lie,
system just
special,
isn't set up in a way that works.
Labour Party,
It is
unique,
confused, it's fragmented,
private, well,
dozens
I
of
call it
operators and interests compete
nationalisation
against each
of
other
railways,
rather than
UK,
work in the interest of the
2024.
passenger. So really simple things like changes to timetable or changes to fares or tickets can take years to drive through the network. And when things go wrong, like delays, armies of lawyers are deployed to fight against each other to work out who would pay for the mistake rather than how to fix it. That's why we're setting out these structural reforms today. We'll sweep away the broken model and we'll bring the private operators into public ownership as their contracts expire, so the taxpayer won't have to pay a penny in compensation, and we'll set up a new body, Great British Railways.
Oh, that sounds wonderful.
From Whitehall.
I think it's about time.
From ministers or civil servants, and it will be run independently by experts, single-mindedly delivering for the passenger. And we think this will be the first time in its history that British Railways will have the passengers at heart.
Is this completely cost-free?
So the government already had plans to reform and to set up their own version of Great British Railways. So the establishment of the new body is covered by the baseline spending plans that we hope to inherit. And actually these reforms will deliver significant savings for the taxpayer. I think a lot of viewers will be really surprised to learn that even 30 years after privatisation, the taxpayer is still propping up almost every penny that is spent on our railways. We subsidise
okay, so I'm going to interrupt you. I'm sorry. The question was, is it cost-free?
Yeah, so as I say, it will actually deliver significant savings.
Is it cost-free?
Yes, so as the operators
That's fine.
come...
No, we've got a yes to that. There is no costs attached to this for the taxpayer. There are none.
So as contracts expire, we'll bring them into public ownership, so there's no compensation required for the operators. And as I say, the government had already set aside funding to set up Great British Railways, which we will take.
Sounds wonderful.
And as I say, it will deliver
I like the idea of this.
savings to the taxpayer because the current system is incredibly inefficient.
No, yeah, you're right, yeah.
Quite frankly, the taxpayer cannot
it's not great.
The current broken model.
Having especially lots of carriages that are empty all day, it could be better, a lot better with Labour in charge. A lot better.
Run on time?
So we're facing record delays precisely because the current system is broken. So that is absolutely our ambition and the whole purpose of these reforms, that we would have fewer delays and fewer cancellations. Because at the moment, a large part of the reason that they happen is because Network Rail, the infrastructure operator, is competing against the train operators. And you don't have to take my words for it. Grant Shapps, the previous Transport Secretary, is quoted as
I don't like him very much,
one of
to be
the
honest.
reasons that privatisation has never been accepted on Britain's railways is because their failings are too obvious, and the fragmentation of the system means that it is very difficult to run trains on time.
Okay,
that's
now,
why
my question was really quite a basic one. Will more trains run on time?
Yes.
That's a yes or no answer,
yes.
really.
Yes,
more trains will run on time. Yeah. Okay. Another one. Will trains be better value for money? Will prices come down?
Ooh, that's a big one.
Today I can't guarantee that we'll lower fares, but
well,
what
how can you?
Is that we'll simplify
I understand
them.
that.
Passengers have to contend with a dizzying array of different types of fares and ticket structures.
Very confusing, though.
What we are saying is that we will
very confusing.
Have an ambition for a best fare guarantee.
I just buy the anytime ticket. I feel safer buying that ticket if it's more expensive. That's just my opinion, my choice.
At the moment, they don't have that confidence.
I don't like that evening off-peak or whatever it is, even ticket thing.
And quite frankly,
it's not very well explained.
That they're being fleeced. So we want to make sure that people know that they're always getting that best value for their journey. But of course, our ambition is to make fares more affordable and accessible. Today, I just can't set out that fares will definitely lower and which fares those will be.
There you go, guys.
If you take one of these lines, say Avanti West Coast, that runs trains between London and Manchester, their contract runs beyond the 5-year period that you're talking about. Is that right?
So they were absolutely inexplicably given a very long extension.
Okay,
to
that's
their
fine. So
contract.
if I can just finish the question. My question in that case is, if someone regularly uses that line, for example,
good shout, Charlie.
Will nothing change in connection with that journey? Because they still have the contract beyond the 5 years, which would be the Labour government.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so their core contract expires within what we would expect to be the first term of a Labour government. So every single one of the operators that remains on the core network is up within the first term of a Labour government, and that's why we have been very clear that this could be completed within the first 5 years.
So none of those contracts run beyond the 5 years?
Not their core terms, no, and we're clear that...
Sorry, the core terms, is that a technicality? I'm not quite sure what that means.
It's just a term within the contract, but the Secretary of State can give notice once the core term has expired, and again, it doesn't require any compensation for the taxpayer. So that's why we have been very clear that this could be...
I like the sound of this, don't you guys?
Louise, thank you very much for your
I think they're definitely worth voting for the Labour Party.
MP and Shadow Transport
But there you go, it's one of many sweeties to vote for, if you believe in it. There you go. Please subscribe to Channel Sign Gems. It's my friend's Parking Gym every Friday, 3 to 5 p.m. ITF Friday Things, our Hills radio station, which is a very good show to listen to every Friday. Got a recorded show this Friday. And this is my friend, you name it, Shane with Cindy Lou, every Friday live at 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. every Friday. That's a good show to listen to as well. And this is my friend, you name it, John, the last show is Sunday at 9 to 12 and live on the Waking radio station show. It's very interesting what they provide, honestly. Very, very interesting sweeties. Well, whatever you vote for the party you believe in. General election, local elections this year, and the general election this coming year, whenever that's going to be. Please squash on Sign Jones. Bye, everyone.